now, once again, Raymond Arroyo.
Welcome back to The World Over. The long-awaited film adaptation of Lois Lowry's classic dystopian novel, The Giver, is finally hitting theaters, and it only took 18 years. But for the filmmaking team, it has been an endurance test of love. Set in a futuristic, colorless society where citizens are medicated out of their passions in the name of sameness, a boy receives a special calling. Young Jonah is to be the receiver of memories for a society that has none. He begins training with the Giver, the living repository of memory, played by Academy Award winner Jeff Bridges. It was Bridges, incidentally, who incubated this project for nearly 2 decades. And what a project it is. It boldly deals with themes of government control and euthanasia that will have teens and not a few adults talking.
From great suffering came a solution. Communities.
Injected.
Serene, beautiful places where disorder became harmony.
Do you know how to fly those?
Absolutely.
Do you get to fly to the edge?
Oh, yeah.
What's past there?
Don't know. We're not allowed to fly past that.
Let's go.
It's against the rules, Jonas.
They're called books.
Hello? My name...
I know who you are.
Who are you?
The Giver. When the elders need guidance, I provide wisdom using memories of the past. Our world was different. There was more.
More?
Much more.
Right.
You'll see them all in time, all colors, all differences. Our people chose to do away with emotions. Those morning injections take them away.
When people have the freedom to choose, they choose wrong.
Tomorrow morning, skip your injection. I've been doing it for months.
Bring up Jonas's activity.
He's inquisitive.
You should know better than anyone.
The way things look and the way things are very different. Watch.
That's my father.
There is no way for me to prepare you for the truth.
He killed him.
The young and the old are killed.
For the good of all of us.
There are things you don't know.
You're scaring me.
Go back to your family unit.
It isn't my family, and neither is yours.
Jonas has become dangerous.
I know that there's something more. Something that has been stolen.
Comfortable?
Jonas,
There has to be a way to show them.
you can stop this. You can change things.
Here is my conversation with author of The Giver, Lois Lowry, producer and founder of Walden Media, Michael FLAHERTY, and The Giver himself, Jeff Bridges. I know what you loved about this project initially was you saw this as something for your great father, the legendary
Yes.
Lloyd Bridges.
Yes.
What kept you going after for all this time, 18 years, Jeff? What was the theme? What was it that drew you to this work?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind when you say that are my partners, Neil Koningsberg and Nikki Silver, who were with me, all the way through this, and we had lost the rights, we got them back. So having that camaraderie, somebody on the journey with me helped tremendously. And also the themes that the movie and the book are about. You know, this idea of kind of being addicted to comfort. You know, we all love to be comfortable, and the movie asks the questions. You know, what are you willing to pay for that comfort? What does comfort cost?
Are you concerned? And working on this film, were you concerned that we are reaching a point as a society where to construct a false equality, we're willing to give up rights or even dearly held beliefs and ideas?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's you know, one of the themes that is discussed in the film. One of the things I like about the movie and the book is that it's not really forcing messages down the audience's throat, but it's you know, provocative, and it hopefully will have people asking these questions after they see the movie. You know, what am I willing to do just to be comfortable, and what is that costing me? You know, and is there any value to to the suffering that life has for all of us.
Jeff, where did you find this character? He's disoriented. He's weary. And I have to tell you, you surprised me in the choices you made for this role after reading the book. Where did he come from? Did you base him on something, someone you saw, encountered?
Well, my father. I know, as you pointed out, I really originally wanted to direct my father in the film. And I find that my father is with me on many of my performances, that he's part of it, and a lot of, particularly this character, but I think there are elements to all the characters I play. There's a bit of opening yourself to kind of be inhabited by this spirit, you know, almost to be possessed or whatever, you know, to invite this guy in, and that was part of it, and then also. You know, you're working with all of these experts in all these different fields. There's a guy who says, you know, what about this coat? What about these shoes? You know, look here, do you like the way this room is? And all of that adds up. It's a cumulative effect, you know.
In my reconnaissance and journalism, digging around, somebody told me you read this Our Daily Bread devotional each day.
The Daily Word. The
And-
Daily Word, yeah.
And when you started filming,
Oh, yeah, wasn't that, it was
what
bizarre.
did you find in that Daily Word that day?
I think the word for the day was giver. Isn't that's like
Be the giver.
That's like the Twilight Zone. And it mentioned, you know, how important it is for all of us to give and to receive. But the word for the day was giver. You know, quite remarkable.
Well, you were the giver and are.
Right.
Michael FLAHERTY, president of Walden Media and producer of The Giver. Why did it take so long, Michael, to bring this story to the screen? 10 million copies of this thing had already been sold when it premiered. What happened?
It's the lesson of Hollywood. There's only about 75 of these that are made a year. So it's almost like winning the lottery. And look, we're good friends. We talk about all this all the time. It's Ecclesiastes. For everything, there is a season. And I kept trying to will this into existence by my own industry and my own initiative. And God had other plans.
How long have you been involved in the production of this, really?
Yeah,
the pre-production?
14 years.
Oh, my gosh.
And the providential part of it all is every year we have 3 different groups of interns. And one of the projects we used to give them was, we want you to read the script, The Giver, and tell us, you know, how you would make it into a movie. What are we doing wrong? We can't get it made. One of those interns was a junior at Tufts. Her name was Julie Rappaport. And several years after she graduated, I got a phone call from her, and she said, Mike, you know, I'm in development at Weinstein now, and I could actually help get this made. And she set up a meeting with Dylan Sellers, their president. I spoke to Harvey, and of course, once you speak to Harvey, the next thing you know, you have Meryl Streep, Katie Holmes, Taylor Swift. So once again, God knew what he was up to and his perfect timing. Was
this on your original list of?
It was.
Of things you wanted, projects you wanted to bring to the screen?
Yes, St. Peter's Church in South Boston has a grammar school, St. Peter's.
Yeah.
My wife, Kelly, taught 5th grade there.
Yeah.
And that list was amazing. It was Charlotte's Web, Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, Holes, Because of Winn-Dixie, Bridge to Terabithia.
There's a line in the film, and it says, have faith that is beyond seeing.
Yes.
Tell me the component that faith plays in this story, in this particular film.
It's central. It's absolutely everything. And that line is one of my favorite scripture verses. It's Hebrews 11:1. The substance of faith is a hope in the unseen. It's every movie we have. Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Lucy, you're crazy. There is no Narnia. Charlotte's Web. Fern, you're crazy. The pigs can't talk. Everything we do is children believing in something and adults telling them that they're crazy. And here, what he realizes is that this was the way this totalitarian regime kept control over people, because they didn't want people to think that there was an authority that was higher than the government, and that there was an actual creator outside of the government, and he had endowed these people with free will.
Yeah, no, there's that powerful line. They haven't eliminated murder. They just called it by a different name.
They brought it home, and they just call it by a different name. Because language, Orwell showed us this, Huxley showed us this. It is one of the greatest weapons in the totalitarian arsenal. If you can pervert the language and call something entirely different what it is. The people who practice infanticide are called nurturers in this world. And that's the other thing. And Shakespeare, you know, as a classically trained actor, you know, a rose is a rose is a rose. Language is so important, and you can call them nurturers, but they're still killers.
Lois Lowry, author of the novel The Giver.
That my vision was to take a young person, to perceive the hypocrisy in the world, and to try to do something to change it and to forestall a hideous future. And then put myself in the mind of that young boy.
Fiona, we gotta go now. You, me, and Gabe.
Jonas, I can't. What about my family unit, the other new children? I can't leave them.
This is the only way. This is the only way to make everything okay.
I can't go.
When I get there, you'll understand. I'll come back for you.
Brenton Thwaites plays that young boy, Jonas.
What did you think when you came across that moment where he recognizes this? They didn't do away with murder. They just called it by a different name.
I don't know. I think it's, you know, it's uncovering the truth in that moment. Lois, in a great way, hides the truth, hides what's happening with suggestions of release.
Release to elsewhere.
Release to elsewhere. And, you know, in that line, it basically uncovers the truth of this community and how evil they are.
I don't expect you to understand, but you must know that Jonas has become dangerous. He must be stopped. He must not get beyond the triangle of rocks. What do you want me to do? You know Jonas. I want you to find him. And then, I want you to lose him.
I know this story originated with your own father and his illness and losing those memories and how important memory is. Do you love the way that it's been depicted here and captured?
The memories that are depicted in the film, I think, were beautifully chosen. There's the one moment, which is a montage, I guess you would call it, of memories, which the giver is giving to the boy to give him strength. And it concludes with the young man standing in front of the tank in Tiananmen Square. I remember seeing that on television. I was in Paris at the time, and being just, it was very powerful. And to see it in this context was just as powerful once again.
There's a lot of imagery here that I didn't see the first time. I screened it in D.C. a few weeks ago and just saw it again last night. There's this tree of life that pops up all over the place. It's in the family dwelling. It's outside the window of the giver. There's this apple that the boy presents to Fiona. Why an apple, Lois?
In the original manuscript, it was a ball. They were throwing a ball back and forth, and suddenly he begins to see it change, and he grows to realize that he's seeing color. An editor pointed out to me, why would they be making balls? Why would they have dye or paint in this world of no color? So I said, aha, I have to change it to a natural object. And the thing that, of course, came to mind was an apple.
No Adam and Eve intention?
Not in my mind, but certainly a lot of theologians have found it there.
We experience life through our 5 senses. But what if everything you ever thought, everything you ever knew, was just the surface of what lies beyond?
The Giver opens everywhere August 15th. For older kids and teens, it's a thought-provoking thriller not to be missed. It's one of those films that strikes the heart and speaks to our time. The questions it raises about free will and the preciousness of every human life, regardless of what society says, are worthy of consideration. This is a movie that people will and should be talking about. Academy Award winners Jeff Bridges and Meryl Streep turn in searing performances. The Giver is in theaters everywhere. My family was still talking about it days after the first viewing.